Jim, here's another question from the Media Scrum. To FTR, there's been a lot going on with FTR. Let's hear why they think it's happening right now.
Will Washington, Fightful. Yes, thank you. It's great that you knew that. So, the last couple of weeks, this past Wednesday and tonight, you guys have received some of what I'd call the biggest pops you guys have ever had. And a big factor in that is, of course, you guys being one of the best tag teams out there. But
rewind. Don't say one of. Come on. At least lie to us. We're right here in front of you.
The best. Okay. But another factor in that has been the change in theme music, which I think last fall a lot of people were a little bit skeptical of, but I would say today, across the board, people have called one of the best themes out there. I've been crowds where I've seen people going nuts over it, dancing in the stands. How do you guys feel like the music has affected your guys' presentation, and you guys love it?
Yeah, the only person we got to thank for that is Tony. I mean, that was his call, and he called us in his office, and he was so excited, man. He was like, you guys have to listen to this, and we listened to it. And I can't lie to you. At first, I was like, "Oh my God, that's not what we're used to." You know, we're used to being these badass guys who like come out and fight and stuff. But God dang, it sounds like I'm kissing his butt. And I promise I'm not.
This is the most that you've ever done it.
To your face, at least, to your face. But that's the thing is like, what they don't understand, what no one understands is, God dang, like the word genius gets thrown around, but he really is freaking smart when it comes to wrestling.
Thanks,
I mean, in life in general, he's smart. But like, when
the first part means more coming from you. That means a lot coming from you, especially considering who I pulled the music from. He probably wouldn't be the first to say. I grew up on him.
That's his gimmick. But he really.
Let me stop it there for a second, because they're obviously referencing you. What are your thoughts on the early part of this?
Well, they're beating around the bush to talk about the music without coming out and saying what the music is. It's a revamp or reorchestration or rearrangement or whatever of the Midnight Express music, which, you know, kind of, Dax and Cash are both North Carolina guys that grew up with the NWA and love classic tag team wrestling. So that kind of fits them, and it's an homage, but you know, I would think they would have come out and say, yeah, it's a Midnight Express revamp, and that kind of puts us in the mood. You know, but they were beating around the bush a little bit about it, but it was the new music. But yeah, it you know, it's flattering in a way. They are the best tag team in the business now, so they should have Midnight Express worthy music.
Is Tony Khan a genius?
No. Come on. That's why he said, lie to us. We're sitting right here. That's what they're doing. Putting him over. He's the boss. He got him a nice, catchy tune. I mean, he may be a genius on statistics, or I don't know anything about football, so he could be a football genius. Other people that do know stuff about football say he's not, but what do I know? But wrestling genius? No, come on.
I think you could argue he's a genius maybe as a promoter, considering what he's done. But when it comes to booking, that's where people lose me when they say he's a booking genius. Being a promoter is one thing. Being a matchmaker is one thing. But actually, week to week, serious TV that makes sense, angles that make sense, things that go someplace and make sense, Tony Khan is not good at that. That's where you need someone to talk to him and help him. And when certain people aren't at TV, it's obvious because everything changes and it reverts back to Tony's instincts as opposed to things that may work to better an angle or furthering an angle or a series of angles.
And somebody remarked, and I'm trying to think now that we've played it a couple minutes ago, I can't remember the word for word, the exact transcript, but somebody said, well, what do you think about him saying that's your gimmick? That's the way people in the wrestling business talk. He's not saying, well, that's his gimmick. He's just putting all that on. He said, that's his gimmick. Cornette, cheeseburgers, that's his gimmick. He loves them. So everybody was like, oh, he's knocking Jim. No, he wasn't. He's saying it's my gimmick. That's what I do.
Well, let's just clear it up. When you say Tony Khan is not a wrestling genius, is that a gimmick? Are you lying to the listeners of this show?
No, because it is not a lie. And anybody with half a fucking, I hate to use the old line, Stevie Wonder could see it or Ray Charles could see it. Who's a famous blind person today? Jose Feliciano could see it. Anyway.
Today? Jose Feliciano?
Well, he's more recent than Ray Charles. Point is, no, Tony Khan is not a wrestling genius. And my gimmick is to fucking say things about people that are fucking fairly much true. That's why nobody else does it, because they're afraid they won't get another job. I'm not looking for one, so I'm free of that burden.
Let's go back to some more of this audio from FTR and Tony Khan.
He is, man. I can think of tackle, drop down, leapfrog, and lock up and stuff like that. But he can think broader than that. And sometimes it makes me mad.
Wait, they still talking about Tony?
God, I'm supposed to be the...
They're still talking about Tony.
I didn't think he could get through tackle, drop down, leapfrog, much less to think broader.
Well, no, he's saying he thinks broader than that. I think that means he wouldn't focus on that part of it, but let's go back to this audio.
Smart, the professional.
Smart as hell.
Well, I'm supposed to be the professional, but then he takes it to another level. And so he played this music for us, and he was so hyped, and it was cool music, and I was like, I don't know if that's us, but I'll be damned if it's not us. And that, yeah, you're right. That has helped our I think our rainbow attire and like what we want to present out there. I think his mullet and my mustache, and then I also think the style of wrestling we bring to. I think it all just came together at once, and the universe provided it for us, and I think it's manifested itself into making us some pretty good baby faces.
And let me just say the one thing he's not saying there, and I understand why he can't. People got sick of the Young Bucks, and people got sick of what they assume the Young Bucks behind the scenes maneuvers are, and FTR had nothing but great matches, and they got aligned with CM Punk. That's the thing that no one wants to say, is that the Young Bucks parade has kind of ended, and there's less people in it than ever before.
I concur with that.
Let's go back to the audio.
I think 99% of it's just the two of you guys, and less than 1% of it is that, and another piece of it that is, 99% of it is down to the two of you, but one person, he's not here tonight, but I've seen you become a more confident and better wrestler since CM Punk walked through that door. Yeah. I've seen you both take it to another level as his partner and backstage and talking to him, and I've watched you get more switched on, and I've watched you take it from being one of the best wrestlers in the world to true, like on from the highest platform to somehow an even higher platform, and the two of you guys have taken it to another level. And particularly, I've watched you get mentally switched on in a totally different way. And Dan, you've always been there, and as a team, you've always been there. But now as you have a third guy with you,
television.
And it's something really strong. It would have been a very different build to this pay-per-view. We still had one of the greatest things I've ever been a part of in my life. But I think, like I said, 99% of it's down to you guys, and then there's all these other factors, music, and I think Phil has been a very positive influence on both of you.
He's called Punk by his real name, too, on television.
Well, not television, YouTube.
Well, whatever the fuck it is. In public, at a media thing, he's calling the guys by their real fucking names. When I know a lot of people on Twitter were going, well, could you see Vince McMahon doing this or Eric Bischoff doing this? When can you think of a wrestling promoter? I'm not talking about the fucking shyster outlaw mud show goofs these days. I'm talking about a legitimate wrestling promoter that ever did media where he hugged his wrestlers like they were his childhood puppy and called them by their real names. I've never heard of anything like that.
Another first for AEW, but let's go back to the audio.
Just to kind of sum it all up, is that there was nothing there wasn't a roadmap to how we were going to get here. We all just, David and I decided we wanted to just make as much fun as we could with the rest of what we're going to be doing, because we don't know how long we're going to be doing this. And that kind of started the snowball. And then just small things here and there. Punk's arrival, Tony having this idea to switch the music. And when I heard the music, I loved it, but I go straight to my mind and I'm like, how do I walk out to this? And I'm trying to picture it, and I'm like, it's great music, but I don't know how to be this. but you don't have to now. Like, it's just kind of one of those things where you hit it and like everybody's kind of moves however they feel individually. And like, it's just been one of those things where everything just kind of fallen into place, and it's been so serendipitous that it's almost comical, but it has. Like, it's peaked to right here. Like, this has kind of all just been one wild and crazy coincidence.
Dean drove me over here today, and while Dean and I were sitting in the car, I was sitting in shotgun, and I played it on my phone in the car with him. And I showed him a tweak I made, like, because if you the track I think that's on iTunes, there's like a cut about 45 seconds in, because there's like Mikey had it go up. He put like a little interlude between the kind of what I'd call the hook, and like it kind of goes up and then it goes back down. And I was like, on TV I don't have 4 seconds, Mikey. You got to go right back to it. And so the TV version, I think there's like a 4, but I love it so much, and it was just one of those things. One day it was just a light bulb, and I was like, this is what we need. This is what we need. The frogs. This is what the frogs.
Just real quick, when he called us into his office, like I said, I'd already heard it once because he hadn't made it there yet, and I loved it. But I'm trying to, like, again, all about visualization for me. Like, I'm a very visual guy, and so I have to like picture it, and I'm trying to picture it, and like he's playing it now, and Dave's in there, and Tony's just jamming the fuck out, dude. And it's like, okay, like, everybody's going to be doing this. So like, just let's everybody just feel like Tony feels right now. Let's go. And look at it. It's just been,
and then if I just,
well, stop it right there.
Brian, help me. That conversation lasted longer than the sum total of all the other wrestlers I've heard talk about their entrance music in the last 40 years. Except if they were singing it. They were singing it, they went on for a while about it. Everybody at these things sounds like a bunch of fucking fans. The boys and the promoters did not talk like this to each other in private or out in public like this in my day. Everybody is thrilled with everything. Everybody is so, oh my God, I have music. Oh my God, I got an action figure. Oh my God, I'm on the show. I get to wrestle one of my heroes. What the fuck is going on?
And again,
I'm not knocking FTR either, but they're way too fucking happy about the fucking music.
And again, part of the issue is who's actually in the room, who is the wrestling media.